about adjustment layers and what they are, what they do, why they're useful, and all that good stuff. So really quick, your adjustment layers are going to live either up here, down here, where you'll have them all accessed there. Or you can also access them here on the new adjustment layer. Right? So there's multiple places that you can access them. Most people will just access them here. Super useful because they live on their own layer. Right? So I can turn this adjustment on and off, and it's not a destructive edit, meaning it's not destroying my original image. Um, Also, you can see that here I have a mask over it, and you can see that I've already painted black and white because I did a curves adjustment here where I actually brought down my highlights because my mountain was a little blown out, and my sky was too, right? So I wanted to bring that down, but I didn't want to darken the water so much, right? I liked where the water was. So I can use a layer mask to bring back some of that water, and maybe even bring back some of those curves adjustments in the water so it feels a little bit more gradual and natural. So that's kind of cool. So you can take that out. Here's another photo that I've done some adjusting to, and it's a black and white adjustment. So here's the original, and then here is the black and white, and then here's the hue and saturation. Now notice the difference between this and this, right? So hue and saturation will allow you to decrease saturation, but that's not necessarily what you always want. If I open this up, you can see that I have a lot more control over what value represents each color in the actual photo. So if I wanted the blues to be darker, I totally have the control to do so. Super useful, very, very useful when you're adjusting for black and white because you may want each color to represent a certain value. The hue and saturation is good for desaturating things, but you won't get that same control as you will in black and white, which lives right here. Now I wanted levels to come in and kind of darken up my sky. That may be a little bit dark, so here the middle one actually controls the mid-tones, and this is of course your shadows and your highlights. Ultimately, there's a ton of adjustment layers that you can use. Really useful stuff. Some of them do very similar things, like exposure and levels, very, very similar. But they all have their purpose and their place of when they are to be used. But the main takeaway is you want to use these suckers on their own layer so that you're not destroying the original image, and you can always go back if you don't like a certain thing that you've done. Really useful for your photography and hopefully keeping stuff away from the delete bin and keeping your photos super inspiring. Some other things that you can look at while looking at these is the hue and saturation, the color balance, brightness and contrast. All these are very, very pertinent to helping you out.